r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What trend died so fast that you can hardly call it a trend? There was a trend when I was in middle school or high school that came and went so fast I have to convince myself it's not a fever dream. Kids were walking around with pacifiers in their mouth and hanging around their necks. Someone please verify this actually happened to them as well. It was a raver thing that got mainstreamed at one point in the 90s. That moment when Google really tried to make Google Plus happen. All Google Plus did was show me that my dad comments on videos of Brazilian chicks shaking their ass. I remember Pornhub had a share this video on Google Plus button. Bitch, why would I want my friends, family and co-workers to know I use Google Plus? I mean, it's pretty appropriate that as a trend flash mobs came out of nowhere and then immediately disappeared. Remember that week everyone was into sea shanties for some reason? Silly bands. I worked retail at the time, and after they sold out, by the time we got stock in to replace them, no one wanted them anymore, and they all got clearanced out. Probably because all the schools immediately banned them. The summer of Pokemon Go was awesome. People were up and outside, walking around and getting exercise. Strangers met and talked, and for a brief moment, it was cool to be social. Then, if I remember right, an app update broke the game, and it fell off wildly in popularity. Ironically, 4ish years later we had COVID, social distancing, and spent all our time indoors. A complete polar opposite from that one wonderful summer of Pokemon Go. The whole 3D craze back in like 2010. Everybody thought it was the future after Avatar came out in theaters. Every movie tried to be 3D after that. There were 3D TVs, 3D phones, the Nintendo 3DS. And I think the craze disappeared in like a year because it gave people headaches. I got married in December of 2013. Our wedding video will always have us dancing around like idiots to Gangnam Style. Remember planking? Liz Truss's British Prime Minister. Those heat-sensitive color-changing shirts that made it extra obvious when someone was a sweaty mess. Hypercolor, I think. Remember that month or so in the 90s when we were all listening to Gregorian chants? That weird poo thing where every other accessory was covered in the poo emoji. Shirts, pants, stuffed toys, figures. I'm so glad that ended. I was sick as hell of seeing that dumbass grinning shit all over everything. Does the existence of a Segway count as a trend? It's pretty crazy how Vine died so quickly, especially given how successful TikTok has been. Everyone claiming they were moving to Threads. Harlem Shake. This viral dance craze was huge for a few weeks, but the hype died just as fast. Cinnamon Challenge. When people were dressing as clowns and chasing people after dark, early 2010s. When Eminem came out, there was a brief moment when everyone had blonde Caesar haircuts, white t-shirts and jeans. He had to make a song telling everyone to knock that shit off. Those whipped coffees that everyone was making during COVID lockdowns. A dalgona? I feel like everyone made precisely one of those to try it out, proclaimed that it was delicious, and then never made another ever again. Whatever that very mindful, very demure shit was a couple of weeks ago. Google Glass. I thought this never went beyond the prototype phase. I remember yo-yos being a huge thing for like a minute when I was a kid. Hoverboards. I remember seeing some guy downtown riding one when they first came out, and he had his arms crossed with this insufferably smug expression on his face, as if to say, look at me and how cool I am. So I intentionally looked the other way. I'm pretty sure the ones that didn't catch fire stopped working after a few weeks. Extreme ironing. I had a flatmate that broke her ankle doing this, and the thought still sends me into the beyond. Pet rocks. Mood rings. Jeans that were more holes than jeans. It moderated back to majority jean material quite quickly. The keep calm and carry on resurgence around 2012. This was big, and so was mustache themed everything, and bacon flavored things. All of these lasted longer than the Confederacy. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening. Tell your friends about me.